I'd like to introduce you to Alan Jones from Springboard Safety. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Yep, I am health and safety, working at height without a harness, as you see. I see the steps are marked, so I'm impressed from the last conference, at least we've highlighted those, so that's excellent. Brilliant. Just a quick thank you to everyone who attended the forum this morning. That was very useful. Lots of good information passed, lots of things raised, and I'll respond to what we've captured through the newsletter, which is basically what we did last time over that period. So if you haven't read any from the previous, it's available on the SPA website, so that's good. Okay, so what have we got? A reminder of the health and safety audit. 38 health and safety categories, 391 scoring checks, and a factory walk around, which again is a useful part of that because we come in with an objective view, so we see things that someone may walk past every day, and we can sort of focus straight on that and deal with it. We set a target last time for everyone to score a minimum of 70%, and there's a 5% reduction for an LTA, so and that can't be reduced by offering me lunch either, so, but it's in the system. So what do we audit? So within that, we're looking at everything, starting with the management of the business, how they're involved with health and safety, if we've got a committee, how that's working, how that's all judged, how regularly they meet in, and what the subjects is being brought up. We look at minutes, and we look at the reviews of those minutes as we go on. So things like planning, KPI, objectives. So if you do OGSM, which is objective goals, strategies, and measures, put it in place. People say, well, I'm not sure what we need to actually do, but people we're working with at the moment from the group, a number of them started looking at lost time accidents, and near misses. So it came up this morning about how do I create that culture within my business around safety. It was a question that was brought up this morning. And you have to start somewhere. And for some behavioural safety, which can be used in this, but I've not used it yet because nobody actually uses that in the system. But certainly near misses is going to be the start of creating that culture. You're going to have to talk to people about it, and you're going to have to set some targets, which one or two you do, I know already, and say, I want 20 near misses in, if it's a small business, at least every month. So we can look at that and review it. Because they'll be happening, it's just you're not picking them up. So that's quite important as well. Risk assessments, again, we look at these very closely, what you have in place. Now some people say, here's my risk assessment, and some of them are very good. Where we tend to fall down a little bit is when we start to look at, can you show me your pure risk assessments? Now, pure is slightly more involved. I'm an engineer, as is Peter that works with us, so we get more involved in the aspects of the machine. Activity is all about what the people do, but obviously the pure we need to get in there. We need to get into electrical cabinets as well. We need to know what's happening. And sometimes when I audit, I find electrical cabinets open. I've seen it open on big sites, and I still see them there. They're not locked, and then you have to ask the question, why? Why is it open? Who needs to go in there? Why do they need to go in there? And sometimes this is a small site without an engineer. An operative says, well, I had a trip. I had to go in there, reset it. One's fine, but if it started happening, you've got to be asking the question, why is it tripping? So, and the other thing is he really qualified to go in that cabinet? Because we train engineers, and we find that they're not qualified to go in the cabinet because they're not complying with the 60204. So we offer that, which is the extension of pure. We look at manual handling. Again, people say, yeah, they've all been on a manual handling training course, but we've not actually risk assessed what's happening at the point where they're using that manual handling technique. So, I like to go somewhere. Some people keep folders where there's the actual manual handling risk assessment there, which looks at weights, looks at what people are doing. So it takes activity, but just a little bit further. And the same goes with pure. What we're finding is some of the things that people have pure in place, pure, COSH, we've done the pure bit, with COSH, and they say, yeah, I've got the COSH register, Here it is, it's in the first aid room or kept somewhere else. But again, you know, what's happening on that machine with the chemicals that's being used, that's what we want to look for a risk assessment. The next thing, obviously, from your risk assessments is creating a safe system of work. We look at that, and we look at that in detail. Safe system of work, again, looking at that to see has it been built from the risk assessments that's been done? Does it apply to engineers? Does it apply to anyone that's got to work on that machine, or have they got a separate safe system of work? Have they signed it? So again, it needs to be signed, ideally displayed, because when the HSE come in or you're being audited, then they say, can you show me an example of that safe system of work signed by the operator? Says, this has come from the risk assessments, he's partly been involved, and now we've got a final document that says he understands it. So there are 1,062 points to be earned. They're available in the audit. Currently, we've done, or people that's taken advantage of our buy one, get one free in the opposite way around, because this is actually get one and then buy one later. So what we're asking is that you take this audit from the Sheep Plant Association. It's a really generous offer, and then next year you're going to have to pay, but it's at least we can see how we developed. So we've done 8 with current members. Other members that's already engaged and hadn't opted to do this, there's 2, so we've done 10 since the launch. The scoring target was 70%. So our result range at the moment is 2 are in the 77 to almost 80%. A little bit of tweaking and we can get there. Another 2 are 84 to 87%, and we've got 6 in the 92 to 96%. And that is some achievement. So very good. So areas for improvement. Contractor control comes up very often. Sheep plants are notorious, really, and I've run quite a few. But you do get in the habit, particularly in the older days, of, yeah, it's Fred, he comes in, he does our electrical stuff. We don't need to pin him down, really, you know, he just turns up, signs in, and gets on with it. But these are areas that we really need to focus, because we have a duty of care, so we need to run the system. Pure we talked about, so again, getting that done properly. Manual handling we talked about. Training comes up. That's one recently that comes up a lot. We've identified this at Springboard quite recently. But the problem is at the moment, people have had the busy period during the COVID. Everybody's business was up. We're now in a period where they are busy, or they might not have the resource there, so they cannot take half a team off the shop floor, reduce production. That's an issue. And we do come across that. They say, well, we can't afford to do that, you know, for half a day training in the training room. So where we've worked with them now is, and some of you I know you've engaged with this, you've taken our online training programs where you can actually, an individual can come up, and we've got something like 138 courses of health and safety management down. They can come up and do short courses, accreditation, it's ROSPA approved, and it's done. So it's another way of easing the burden on people at the moment in sheep plants to the cosh. So, all I can say is Ring of Defence, book now. Peter's here, Peter Thwaites, if you don't know him, myself. Please come up and say, can I book you? I know one or two spoke. We spoke this morning, so I'm sure there'll be some come out of that. But it's a great opportunity. Sheep Plant's been very kind. If you've got more than one site, however, sort of does change it slightly, because you best choose which site you want done, because we'll only do this on one site in the group. And if you want other sites, then you would pay for those. But pay the site where there's most opportunity for continuous improvement. Okay, thank you very much.